All right, so this is the Schiit, Schiit, Saga. I guess I'd call it a preamp or switcher. It's a preamp. Well, anyway, it has 5 in, 2 out, right? So I can put 5 analog inputs in, two outputs. It is an active or a passive preamp. I'm calling it a preamp, whether it is or not. That's what I'm terming it as. So, as you can see, it has one tube on top, which is glowing, and whether or not the tube's engaged is right there. So that's passive, right? And if I wanted active, running it through the tube, that's that. I normally run it just passive. So again, we have 5 inputs. Right now we're playing from DAP that's over here. Optical. Into this stack, out of the stack, into analog, into this. Now this has RCA inputs. It does not have XLR. So it has 5 RCA in and 2 RCA out. It has a remote. The remote is rather glitchy, and there are instructions on the various different articles on this saying that after you use it, you have to turn the volume and it'll reset this. I find it really glitchy. I've replaced the battery. All this does, by the way, is active, passive, up, down, or volume. That's it. That's all you get. So, yeah, that's the extent of it. But like I said, getting this thing to work doesn't always work. With regards to this, it is clicky. I don't care. I normally have it on high. Obviously, we were not on high when I turned up the stereo. So normally I leave it on full, and I control my volume with my main volume. But if I'm queuing up an album or something like that, I can use it, certainly. So as far as queuing up an album, it's engaged. And shortly, we will have a piece of vinyl. So for me, it was all about having active or passive. I like to be able to have just a pass-through. And also the 5 in. Well, I need 4 in, 2 out. So 5 in works. And I think it's a great product. Oh, by the way, this is the Saga. This is not the Saga S or the Saga, is it a Plus? So the Saga S, I guess, is the solid state without the tube. The Saga Plus is the new version without the tube. This is in the closeout or clear out or whatever they call it, special priced. So these sell for $199, I think it was. The difference when I wrote them and asked them, they said the noise floor on the new models is slightly lower in the active mode. In the passive mode, it doesn't matter at all, right? And the newer model has a slightly better tube, so I may upgrade the tube. But the question is, which I want to know, is how high is the noise floor, which I'll have to measure. Okay. So noise floor. So they said the noise floor on this was a little higher, and I was just about to sign off, and I realized, well, let's listen to the noise floor. So what we're actually listening to right now is the noise floor on my turntable. And it's slightly higher than you might expect. It's associated with the fact that I have an MC cartridge. So it's extremely sensitive to anything. It'll pick up anything. So it has a little higher noise floor, and it's nice to be able to control that if you can control your impedance of your phono preamp. I have a Manny, so the controls on it are somewhat coarse, although the sound is great. So here's the question. Right now we're in active mode, passive mode. I can't hear a difference in the noise floor at all. Right? So that's passive. So this is not influencing it at all. That's active. I hear no difference in the noise floor at all. So that's just one more comment again about the B stock versus the current stock. And I forget what you're saving on this. I think it was over $100 by going, which is 33%, which by going by the B stock. And I can buy a better tube for 10, $20. I can spend more than that. If I spend $100, I'm getting a better tube than they're sending out with their new Saga Plus or whatever it's called. Only downside, I don't know what's going on with this. I'm going to have to write the company, and I don't know whether I got a defective one. Like I said, I replaced the battery. Actually, this whole remote is a bit of a glitch. It's got rare earth magnets, and this is the remote, this black insert. So when you pop it out on the back, see there's a little a pinhole. That's what pops out, and you can replace the battery in that. Anyway, that's about it. I think, for $200, which is what I paid, and a little bit of shipping, I forget what the shipping was. It's a great deal. It's the best deal out there. It does what I need it to do. Do you really need a remote for it? Well, all the remote really does for me is control the volume and turn off or on, whether it's active or passive. I can't even change the input with the remote, so I really don't care whether it has a remote or not, to be frank. Because if I'm going to put a piece of vinyl on and change it over to input 1, I got to come up to my turntable, put a piece of vinyl on, and push input 1. Anyway, I digress and have warned it off. That's about all I've got to say. As far as I'm concerned, it's a buy. I'll go back to passive mode while I remember. That's all. If you liked it, hit like and subscribe. Thanks.